Hello and welcome back to another. Hello and welcome back to another video. This is just a project update on where the project is currently at. So from my last post, I basically sorted out all the camera shots, sorted all the positionings, and basically made sure that everything was shooting what I wanted based off the storyboard, which can be seen in the planning section of my blog. So I set all them up and made sure everything was okay. However, I was having a bit of a crisis, bit of roadworks in my progression, and that was due to me looking at the project and thinking that it was very sparse. Um, so right now, so you got the particles and the cube. Uh, Before this, I didn't have any. I didn't have like the physical sky, specifically with the fog, or I didn't have the sun, which can be seen below it, and that basically, those two, adding those two into the scene brings it all together very nicely. But before that, I didn't have it, and it was getting quite annoying because I didn't know what else to add. I didn't know what else to do to kind of tie it in and make it more polished. So I highlighted these points to my tutor, and there was two kind of suggestions that were made. Well, there's one suggestion that was made, and the other suggestions come from me. So I'm at this kind of point now where I have two paths in front of me, and I can really only afford to take one. So the one that was voiced by my tutor was to basically substitute this element of the cube and replace it with a element that would tie it in or link it to something commercial, basically making this an abstract commercial animation. So one suggestion that they made was that the X particles here basically reminded them of Fanta. I think there's a Fanta ads that used a lot of these like little tiny particles, and that reminded them of that. So it was suggested that this cube should be replaced with a vending machine, and then the vending machine would just be floating around in space, and then would have all this like particles floating around it. And the idea or kind of new notion behind it was that it's a type of abstract animation or abstract marketing animation for a Fanta or Coca-Cola or something like that. A good example of this is Skittles, where the man's milking a giraffe and Skittles are being filled up in the bucket. Something like that. That's really weird, but also quite cool and funny. And I really like that idea. And so far, I've been spending all the last couple of times, or the last couple of hours, just modeling a vending machine. It's nothing special, and it's very rough still. However, it kind of just shows the general gist of what I was trying to go for. I really like this idea, but I feel like with the time that I have available, this would be very difficult, and I'd have to spend a lot of time just modeling it, creating the materials, and then making sure that there's like details on it that can be picked up. And with coming into week 11 now, I really do need to start looking at rendering and getting rendered. So this is why I thought of the second option of basically changing the color map. So as you can see, this is the color map for the material, and it's a very distinct color. It's very bold, which is good. However, it's not complementary to the red, which is the X particles, the ring here. So what I propose is that I spend a couple hours trying to find a swatch of colours that complements this X particles ring, and that also ties in quite nicely with the rest of the scene and the sun. So the benefits of doing this maybe over creating the vending machine is that really time is one of the better factors, is because it will take this could take an hour, or this could take 20 minutes to find a new swatch, to colorize this to make it all tie in, whereas modeling could take a couple days, which I really don't have. Additionally to this as well, additionally to modeling over this, is that I can really tie in the model better because I'm creating from scratch. I now have the final scene in which the model needs to go into. I know exactly what needs to go in. I knew exactly how it needs to be and all this jazz, all the colour, what different elements I could include to make this better. However, as this was already created, it'd be very difficult for me to go back and make all these necessary changes now. Well, not necessary, preferable changes now. So there's pros and cons to both, and I will keep you updated with what I decide to do. As for now, I'm going to play around with the colour, so that's what I'm going to do for now. However, I will make a post on modelling and provide my render here, so that there's some evidence of that on there. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned and stay posted on my blog, and you'll see what I do and the outcome of it. So thanks very much, and see you later.